What if the people we trust to heal us actually profit more when we stay unwell? Medicine is supposed to be about curing disease, about helping people live longer, fuller lives. Yet behind the glossy ads and white lab coats lies a question that haunts public trust. Does Big Pharma really want cures or just customers? Every year, the global pharmaceutical industry generates over $1.5 trillion in revenue. But critics argue that the system is designed not around health, but around sickness. It's an uncomfortable idea that the very companies we rely on for life-saving drugs and vaccines might be more invested in keeping us dependent than setting us free. Welcome to Parallel, a mix of storytelling and thought-provoking what-if scenarios, combining narrative fiction and analysis that includes real-world science, philosophy, and potential real-world implications. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment so that you do not miss out on the next episode. Because, one reality, says T-Boom, is never enough.
They file in, one after another, and I write the prescriptions like clockwork. Then come the pharma reps, with tailored suits, rehearsed charm, bags full of samples and promises. They hand me glossy brochures that shine brighter than most of my patients' eyes. PowerPoints that look bulletproof, every bar graph pointing up, every risk downplayed. I nod. I sign. I comply. Who am I to resist? I'm drowning in paperwork, my salary shrinking while their profits soar. But in the quiet moments, the question won't leave me. Am I healing? Or am I feeding bodies into a machine that depends on them staying unwell? Each pill treats one symptom and breeds another, each solution locking patients tighter into dependence. They call me doctor, but some days I feel like a salesman wearing a white coat, a cog in a machine too big to stop. And the worst thought, the one that keeps me awake, is that maybe the system was never built to cure at all.
We must first look at the history of Big Pharma and control. The modern pharmaceutical industry exploded after World War II. Antibiotics like penicillin changed the world, proving that science could conquer disease. But success also brought scale, and with scale came money. From the 1950s to the 1970s, this was the era of blockbuster drugs, tranquilizers, birth control pills, blood pressure medication, and it turned drug companies into global powerhouses. From the 1980s to the 1990s, we saw that the rise of direct-to-consumer advertising in the US made pills a product, marketed like soda or sneakers. And then, from the 2000s onward, the opioid crisis revealed just how dangerous profit-driven medicine could be. Companies like Big Pharma aggressively pushed addictive painkillers while downplaying risks, leading to hundreds of thousands of deaths. The industry learned a simple lesson. Recurring patients, not permanent cures, create steady profits. What's happening now? Today, Big Pharma isn't just a healthcare player. It's a shadow government in white coats. In Washington, the pharmaceutical lobby is the single biggest spender, dropping over $350 million every year to influence laws. That's more than oil, more than tech, more than defense. When you wonder why drug prices never seem to fall, remember, it's because your elected officials are already bought. Insulin still costs hundreds of dollars a vial in the US, though it can be manufactured for under $10. Patents are evergreened with tiny tweaks, a pill's coating, a delivery system, to block cheap generics from entering the market. Cancer drugs debut with $100,000 plus price tags, regardless of actual cost. And look where the research money flows. Billions go into lifestyle drugs, erectile dysfunction, hair loss, antidepressants designed for long-term use. While malaria, tuberculosis, and other diseases killing millions in the developing world remain underfunded because poor people don't generate profit margins. It's not about saving lives. It's about creating repeat customers in wealthy nations. Big Pharma doesn't chase cures. Cures kill the business model. It chases management, maintenance, and lifelong treatment. In other words, chronic sickness equals endless profit. It's not hard to work out who benefits, but let's call them out anyway. Drug giants. They post record profits while slashing research and development, buying back stock and rewarding shareholders. Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and Merck are not healing institutions. They're Wall Street darlings, politicians. They take campaign donations, then write laws that keep drug monopolies intact. The revolving door spins freely. FDA regulators go on to cushy jobs in pharma, and pharma executives slide into policy roles. Insurance companies, they thrive on high prices. The more complex the billing, the more cuts they take. They don't fight high costs, they pass them to you. Media outlets. Billions in pharma advertising ensures critical coverage is rare. When your nightly news break cuts to an ad for a new cholesterol pill, remember, the network profits too. And the losers? Ordinary people. Families bankrupted by medical bills, patients rationing insulin, and nations where millions die because the cure exists, but not at a price they can pay. If there is a wider societal impact, what is it? The fallout is everywhere, and it's devastating. Medical debt is the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States. In the richest country on earth, people lose homes because they got sick. Parents ration insulin for their children. Cancer patients launch GoFundMe pages to pay for chemotherapy. And it's not because we lack cures or treatments. It's because the system is built to exploit suffering as a revenue stream. Globally, millions die each year from preventable diseases like malaria, tuberculosis, and diarrheal infections. Not because science can't solve them, but because the victims are poor and therefore worthless to the profit equation. Meanwhile, the same corporations pour billions into marketing weight loss injections and hair growth drugs for wealthy markets. This isn't healthcare. It's a business model where human life has been reduced to a balance sheet, where patients are rebranded as consumers, where health is never the goal, dependence is. If you think all of this is exaggeration, history tells a darker truth. The opioid crisis. Purdue Pharma aggressively marketed OxyContin, downplaying addiction risks. Over 500,000 people in the U.S. died from overdoses linked to prescription opioids. Executives walked away rich. Families were left shattered. Insulin price collusion. For decades, the big three insulin makers, Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, Sanofi, hiked prices in near lockstep. No breakthrough, no innovation, just exploitation of patients who literally can't live without it. The Vioxx scandal. Merck's blockbuster painkiller was pulled from the market after evidence showed it increased risk of heart attacks and strokes. By the time it was withdrawn, it was linked to tens of thousands of deaths. Merck made billions before facing lawsuits. Thalidomide. Marketed as a safe pregnancy drug, it caused horrific birth defects in thousands of children. It remains one of the greatest medical disasters of the 20th century, and a reminder that safety often comes second to sales. And Tamiflu. Governments spent billions stockpiling Roche's antiviral during flu scares. Later reviews revealed much of its effectiveness was exaggerated and data suppressed. The company still cashed in. These aren't accidents. They're symptoms of a system that rewards deception when the fines are smaller than the profits. Is Big Pharma actively trying to keep us sick? The answer may be worse than a cartoonish conspiracy of villains in boardrooms. It's the cold efficiency of capitalism at its purest. The industry doesn't need to plot to keep you unwell. The system automatically rewards it. A cured patient is a lost customer. a lifelong patient is recurring revenue. Yes, modern medicine has saved millions of lives, but the same system has also engineered one of the greatest paradoxes of our time, a healthcare industry that thrives on illness. And until we confront that truth, every scandal, every price hike, every needless death will repeat like clockwork. The real horror isn't that Big Pharma wants you sick. It's that the system doesn't care whether you get well, as long as the profits keep flowing. And that leaves us with one haunting question. In a world where sickness pays, who will ever dare to make us truly healthy? Thank you so much for listening in to this episode of Parallel. If you have an idea for a future episode, drop it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel grow its audience. Until the next episode, remember, one reality is never enough.